social Aloe Ministries, where we set the captives free in the name of Jesus for His glory. I'm going to take a few minutes to speak about marriage. There are many teachings out there today about marriage, kingdom marriage, and it seems like if you're single, you're in the wilderness, and marriage is the promised land, which is actually a great analogy, but not necessarily the reasons that may first come to mind. In Luke 14, Jesus warned, before you build anything, consider the cost. We see that in 1 Samuel 8, when the Israelites wanted a king so they can be like other nations. They didn't know that in wanting that king, they'd actually rejected the Lord. But they wanted a king. But before the Lord gave them that king, the Lord told them what it was going to cost them. They looked at it, and they were willing to pay the price, or so they thought. And the Lord gave them what they wanted. But a part of that, they wanted a king to be like everyone else. Be careful that you're not hearing about all these teachings about marriage, and you being single. Now you want to be like others to be married. Because people, even in a God-ordained relationship, a God-ordained marriage, yes, it's a beautiful thing, how the Lord brings them together. But after that, there's some work that has to be done. Many people are so focused on meeting the one, getting married, that they're not really preparing to sustain that marriage. Like if you're single, can you cook? See, when you're single, it may be okay if you just have a bowl of cereal. When you're married, maybe it'll be okay to have just a bowl of cereal. But how about when children are involved? So are you using your time now to prepare for the potential challenges of a marriage? When you're single, you abstain from sexual immorality. No premarital sex. When you're married, you better give up the goods. And a part of that is, it's not just for sexual pleasure. You don't leave any room for the enemy. So you may work yourself till you're dog tired. You just want to come home and basically just plop face down on the bed and go to sleep, being that tired. But when you're married, you have to preserve some energy for your spouse. And when I say energy, not just for sexual intimacy, but for other things. Your spouse is going to want your time. Like now you may enjoy your quiet time. But how about when you get married and your spouse wants to talk? You have to consider the cost. Earlier I mentioned about not letting people lead you to believe that if you're single, that you're in a wilderness and marriage is a promised land. Because using that analogy, in the wilderness, the Lord provided manna for His children. All they had to do was just go out and pick it up. But in the promised land, they had to start planting crops. In the wilderness, they didn't do a lot of fighting. In the promised land, they had to fight to clear it. When the Lord connects you with your spouse, are you prepared to potentially help them fight through challenges that they may have at that time to help totally free them up for you? It's not always easy. Also, do you have fears? Do you have insecurities? Can you work on those things now? In a sense, there are two ways of looking at it. There are things the Lord may be waiting on. Things that you need to accomplish, your future spouse may need to accomplish before bringing you together. But some things are also time sensitive, where even if these things don't get done beforehand, at that time He's going to bring you together. And you could have used your time more wisely, getting refined, having the Lord refining you, developing yourself, getting ready for marriage. Not just the wedding, but for the marriage. You may have been going through things, and you know the enemy has been after you, trying to stop you from getting married. But the thing is, when you get married, the fight doesn't end there. Just because you get married, it's not like the enemy's just going to back off. He's going to come, in a sense, even harder, trying to break up what the Lord has brought together. So if you're single, it's a time of preparation, but it's also a time of service to the Lord. Paul wrote about the benefits of being single. You can commit yourself wholeheartedly to the Lord. When you're married, you have to spend time with your spouse. I mentioned this in other videos. You may be the kind of person where you're going to be up all night praying. If you live alone, that's great. You may want to be up all night praising and worship. If you live alone, that may be great. You may love worshiping, playing music, dancing around the house and stuff like that. But you may have a spouse who's more into the Word. That person prefers to listen to the Word or wants to read. Are you prepared to make those compromises? Many people tell you about like how God brought them together and how wonderful it was. But after that, there's going to be some work. Are you prepared to do the work? Now, I don't think I've ever heard anyone say, you know what, I met my spouse on this day, and I kind of wish the Lord would have like given me an extra year to work on some things. I actually know of a situation where a young man went to a church where his future bride was. And the night that he showed up, the pastor started preaching some things that if he were to approach his bride that night, it wouldn't have worked. Are you also in an environment where you are receiving teachings, people are preaching, and it makes it seem as if there are no good men out there, no good women out there, as if you're better off single? Because that can create some mindsets to when the Lord presents your spouse to you, that it may instill fear. And rather than going towards a person, you're moving away from the person. So again, there are many things to consider. Consider the cost. Consider the cost. And yes, there's another thing that many people don't think about. When you get married to that person, you also have another family. Now the Lord, He has worked some beautiful things out. There are some people who they never had a great family life growing up. And the person they marry and has an incredible family that takes a person in, and the person feels as if this is a family I was missing all these years. For some people it works out that way. For others, it's not quite the same. In Genesis 24, when the Lord was bringing Rebekah and Isaac together, the servant went to go get Rebekah. But Abraham said an angel of the Lord would go ahead of the servant to help select that spouse. But the angel also prepared Rebekah's family. Because when the servant told Rebekah's family what he had been through, the signs the Lord had showed him along the way, Bethuel, Rebekah's father, Laban, Rebekah's brother, they both said, this is of the Lord. So they recognized it. Not only did they recognize it and they agreed with it. You may find yourself in a position where people recognize that, yes, that is the person the Lord has for you. And they will come into agreement with the Lord's plan. Other people, they'll recognize that is the person the Lord has for you, and they may try to do some things to interfere with it. So please, do not get in the mindset that if you're single, you're in wilderness, and if you're married, it's the promised land. We're supposed to be content in whichever position we're in. Because there are people who they're single, and they want to be married so bad. And then there are people who are married. They'd like to be single again. And then there are people who are married, and they're looking back at their single season, and they're like, wow, if I had done this back then, I would have been better off now. So take your time, ensure that you're serving the Lord as best as you can in the season. When you're single once. When you meet your God-ordained spouse, it is for a lifetime, and it's truly till death you part. So what do you do? Please consider the cost. This is not to scare you. This is to get you prepared. This is for sobriety. You don't want to get into this thing as if it's a fairy tale. There are going to be issues along the way. There are going to be issues in the marriage. Things will have to change. You're no longer one person, an individual, but two become one flesh. And that takes work. Two become one flesh. If you're single, enjoy it while it lasts, because when it's over, it's over. Marriage, a God-ordained marriage, is till death do you part. And by the way, in a God-ordained marriage, the Lord takes vows seriously. So before you make that vow, ensure that you're truly ready for the things the Lord has for you. Yes, whoso finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor of the Lord. But I'd like to add to it a little bit. It's not just finding a wife, but finding a wife the Lord not only approves of, but actually blesses. Because there are things we may want so badly, the Lord may give it to us, but He doesn't truly bless it. But it's another thing to be in accordance with His will. We're kind of like Isaac. He presents someone to you. Kind of like a Boaz, he presents someone to you. Like an Adam, he presents someone to you. And yes, in those 3 examples I gave, the Lord actually brought the woman to the man. So that happens sometimes. The Lord may present, and the man then pursues. As a man, the Lord may present someone to you, but it may not be time to pursue. Learn something from David in 1 Samuel 30. When the Amalekites had captured his family from Ziklag, David inquired of the Lord and asked the Lord if he should pursue and also if he would be successful. Sometimes we see an opportunity and it may be from the Lord, but it could be just for an introduction. It may not be time for the full pursuit. So you need to be in alignment with the Lord's will. So again, maybe it's just for an introduction, to plant a seed, and then to back off. And in due time, the Lord will bring the 2 of you together. Because in a God-ordained relationship, you don't need to be trying to tear down anyone's door as if you're a SWAT team try to get in. Even Jesus in Revelation 3:20, he spoke about being at the door. He's knocking, waiting for the invitation to come in so that he can sup, eat with you. So men, when it's time for you when the Lord presents a woman to you, find out if it's actually time to pursue. Women, when the Lord presents you to a man, whether he brings you to him or him to you, if a door isn't open, a godly man, he may knock, but he's not going to try to tear that door down. So some way, the Lord will let you know, to let him know that you're ready. Because if not, you'll be waiting and he'll be waiting. I've said a lot, but to summarize with this: before you build something, consider the cost. Meeting the God-ordained spouse, getting married, staying married, that's another issue. So do not just prepare for meeting that person. Do not prepare just for getting married, but prepare for staying married. Prepare for the 2 of you serving the Lord. See, Adam, after stuff broke loose in Adam's life, Adam told the Lord that the woman you gave me caused this. The Lord created a woman just for Adam, and things happened. In your single season, the Lord is preparing you so that if one of you starts going astray, the other won't go down that same road and can pull the other back. Adam was having a great life. Eve came along and things happened. So just don't prepare for meeting. Just don't prepare for marriage or for getting married, but actually prepare for the marriage. And don't make it an idol, because it requires work. God bless you. Jesus is Lord.